If you don't have any money, if you are poor and you do not have the means or the resources to take care of another human being, why the fuck are you having children? Why? This is not about eugenics. It's not about none of that. This is about being financially responsible.
So I got tagged in this because I've talked about this multiple times before. This may be my fourth or fifth time having to engage with this discourse. So this time I'm just going to be blunt about it. It's eugenics rhetoric because they sterilized people. And not like, oh, like in theory. I mean, they literally sterilized black women, Puerto Rican women, and indigenous women in the 1960s and 70s. And then 2 years ago, they sterilized like migrant women on the border of Mexico and Texas, right? I don't mean that metaphorically. I don't mean that figuratively. I don't mean it metaphysically. I mean, they have literally performed hysterectomies on women over the past 60-year history of this country because they determined them to be poor and unfit mothers. And I just need you to put like your thinking caps on for a second, okay? Okay, right? This system has pushed black people into poverty, right? There's a class of people who are cutting welfare programs and benefit programs. That same class of people cuts access to birth control, access to healthcare. That same class of people demonizes people for not being financially responsible and having children, and then they sterilize them. Okay? That is just literally always the end game for this conversation. And I know that you, specifically, person who just thinks that women should be financially responsible before they have kids, don't want to sterilize women. However, what I am telling you is that in the real world, not the theoretical one, not the TikTok discourse back and forth, I stitch you guys, they just do hysterectomies on women who they determine not to be unfit without telling them. That's just how this ends. That's just how it ends every time. The more we view poverty as individual failings and individual responsibilities, and instead of the way that this system is designed to function, because you can't have rich people and that high level of success without having a poor underclass of laborers, right? The more you will realize that the more energy you dedicate to saying, hey, if you're poor and you're not responsible, you shouldn't be having children, instead of saying, why are there so many fucking poor people? Why are eggs $13 a carton, right? Why is it impossible to find an apartment to rent? Even if you are educated, why does our money not cover that? You will realize that the energy that you could be placing into just fighting for some basic fucking need protections for children, you are just yelling at theoretical poor moms online. And that shit empowers people to do what they did as recently as 2 years ago, which is just sterilize poor mothers. Like, that's what happens. That's just what happens.